Hello, everyone. Welcome to a very special episode of the Waffle Press Movie Hangouts. It's Talk All Monsters, the return of our Talk All Monsters show in the lead up to Godzilla versus Kong. I'm your host, Diego Crespo. With me is my co-host, Gina Versa.
Hey, how you doing? This is Gene. Good to be with you. It was sorry you couldn't make it last recording. You were kind of knocked out.
Yeah. I got that second COVID vaccine. The first one barely hurt me. Second one took me out for a couple days, but I'm back. I'm re-energized. I'm ready to rip my mask off. No, just kidding.
No,
Everyone
no.
still wear your masks. Remember, the vaccine is to protect us now. Doesn't
Yes.
protect you against variants. And we
Mhm.
still need to do our best to take care of each other because apparently no one else is. But
Yeah, do your
that's
part.
okay. Yeah, do your part. I'm doing my part. Um, but
It's like
without the propaganda.
Starship Troopers. I'm
Yeah,
doing
but
my
without the
part.
fascist propaganda. Uh,
For sure.
great film, great satire. But also talk about great things today. We're talking about some Godzilla and Kong comics. Thank you to Legendary Pictures and the Legendary Comics team, specifically Sarah Jarvis and Tracy Brown, who, thanks to Gene, was able to reach out and get us some copies of these early comics. First up is, I guess you want to talk about Kingdom Kong
Yeah,
first?
yeah, we could go Kingdom Kong because yeah, I think I think that would probably be the best one to talk about. Yeah.
Okay, well, really quick, the titles are Kingdom Kong and Godzilla Dominion.
Yeah,
These
and
are the
mhm.
lead ups to the Godzilla versus Kong film. So these are like kind of early sneak peeks. And I also want to say that if you don't want to know anything about the movies going in, don't listen to this episode. Come back
Right.
after because
And
it does tee up some stuff, and we will reference things that might pop up in the film.
Right. And I just want to say it comes out on March 30th is when it ships. And you could expect those in however you buy books.
Yeah. So go support local comic shops if you can. But yeah, Kingdom Kong, because King Kong is still kind of a weird legal matter that
I
uh,
guess so, huh? Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
that people can't
Um,
really get into.
but yeah, no, I really enjoyed the graphic novel. I really enjoyed the artwork in it. I was really impressed with a lot of because I believe I've read all the prequels from Legendary for each of their like from their publishing house whenever they do the MonsterVerse. I read the Godzilla Aftershock. I've always been impressed by the art. It reminds me of like Art Adams or I forgot that artist who did he did a big like dinosaur graphic novel. It's escaping me, but but yeah, this the artwork was like pretty good. They capture kaiju's and everything really well. So just gotta throw that out there.
Yeah, I like the monster artwork on both of these comics that we're going to talk
Yes.
about. Actually, the human ones, I'm a little iffy on this one. It's a personal preference. I don't like the kind of rotoscope look on the
Yeah.
people. I
Hmm.
don't think it's bad. It's not something I prefer for sure.
Okay. Yeah. It's just
The artwork was done by Zid.
mhm.
That's just it's just the one name, like McLovin. But very talented artist, clearly written by Marie Anello.
Mhm.
So I have mixed feelings about this comic, if I'm being honest. And as many people know, I kind of hopped off comics generally, right? Maybe once in a while I'll pick stuff up, but like I was interested to see what I would think about this comic in particular. And
Yeah.
I actually found it odd for the first half because
Okay.
it's like I think this is a problem stemming from the movie universe on these actually, because I don't know what Kong's deal is until later. And the whole thing with Kong is that he wants to protect living things. And
Right.
it's like they kind of had to retroactively build that into this version of Kong in this comic. And so I like how it found its footing in that.
Hmm.
But I did get the sense that they were kind of struggling with like, what is Kong's deal
Oh,
in this
yeah,
universe,
a little bit. And I was just gonna add, at least it feels like Kong has like a personality. Like he has like a lot of he feels like a character though. And because I really appreciate, I guess for the MonsterVerse, just for the monsters as well, they try to give them arcs, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
I don't know
that's
if
neat.
I don't know if I agree with that. I think this Kong suffers from not having a personality, honestly.
Well, like he,
But I
well,
felt that he at least had like a thematic purpose here,
right, yeah,
finally.
because I was gonna say, I appreciated like the humans, like the human pilot, that that character, and just kind of like the the Monarch team where in the early part of the comic, they're kind of talking how they're all kind of like they were affected by the kaiju's, like they all lost someone, like someone says that they lost their mom during San Francisco, like they wish they got them. Um, another pilot says that they they lost their team because of a kaiju attack. Like that's really potent, like look at kind of where we are now. Like, some people that lost people over COVID. Like it really, I don't know, kind of hits home, I guess I would say.
Yeah, I'm into that, like that world building. I think the world building across both of these is really strong, actually,
Hmm.
and it's like the most interesting aspect of this comic for me.
Yeah.
Uh, to talk about a little bit about the monsters in the animation. So one of the cut monsters from the actual Kong Skull Island film was like this tiger with like deer antlers. It looks
Hmm.
very like Miyazaki
Yeah,
inspired,
it really
and it
did.
makes an appearance at the beginning of this comic. And at the end of these graphic novels, they also have like Monarch style like infographics about the monsters and stats
Hmm.
and stuff like that. So if you're a big like nerd like me, you'll love it because I loved it. So
Yeah. Yeah, dude, yeah, that was really cool. Yeah, that
yeah,
was
so
like.
some of the monsters have like official like names like Titanus, whatever.
Hmm.
The tiger one is just called Spirit Tiger, which although it has Tigris spiritus as the cryptozoological classification,
Hmm.
which is just a nerdy thing that I really like.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I thought that was like, yeah, I just love like the world building that they did, and there's like different, like it's almost like a Pokemon index. Do you remember that from
Yeah,
Pokemon? Yeah.
yeah. That's
Like.
actually like something I want to see more of. Like
Hmm.
if these movies are done after Godzilla versus Kong, we'll see, right? Hope I like them mostly, so like I'd like to see them continue. But if they are, maybe just continue them like this because this is like a fun way to like kind of keep tabs in the universe.
Yeah.
It's a fun way to have fun with the comic format.
Right.
Something you can't do in the movies, so to
Right.
speak.
Yeah. And then I guess just going more into the plot stuff, kind of a disclaimer, right?
Oh yeah, but again, the disclaimer: don't want to know anything about Godzilla versus Kong going in. Just tap out now. Enjoy the ride. Hopefully, fingers crossed. We're excited. So
Right. Yeah,
enjoy.
exactly. Exactly. Yeah, because I was just gonna say the way this kind of sets up Kong in Godzilla versus, or excuse me, Kong versus Godzilla is pretty interesting. Like, they're just like setting up like where Skull Island is. You see that Monarch has still been monitoring Kong. They have Brooks from Kong versus Skull, or excuse me, Kong Skull Island. He's there. We saw him in King of the Monsters where he has like he's pretty much like not the head of Monarch, but he's pretty up there. He's like
Mm-hmm.
worked his way up, which is cool to see like a progression of the character, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he sees Kong after like 40 or something years. He's like, my God, you got so big. Kong's a big boy now. Like, as we were saying in the previous Taco Monsters episode with our friend of the show, Brandon Patrizzo, where the explanation how Kong got so big and he was surprised was because Kong was a teen in Skull Island. Now he's an adult. He's like 3 times bigger. You grow, you know, grow as he comes. So it's cool to just see like people like in that universe, like noticing that, explaining that, kind of like the logic to it, which that's a good explanation. He's just older, you know.
Mm-hmm. I also like the continued metaphor of like climate change that
Hmm.
they got going on with this universe. Where like Skull Island is Kong's home, but it's also uh noted several times that like maybe he can't live here anymore. Like
Yeah.
maybe it's not okay for him to live here anymore because there's a big storm coming, and it's also kind of like represented by another kaiju that appears called Kamazots, which is uh, from a reference to Mexican folklore about a
Oh,
bat god of
I didn't know that
death,
actually.
life, sacrifice. Yeah, it's fascinating stuff. It's like a real thing. you look up Camazotz, you're gonna get a picture of Mexican Batman, and you realize where Bob Kane maybe got inspired from back
Yeah,
in the 1920s,
or just stole because Bob Kane does that.
or just stolen because white people do that.
Well,
But
no,
yeah, that's where that comes from.
Bill Finger has a lot more to do with Batman's creation.
Ah,
Yeah,
gotcha.
throwing it out there. Yeah,
All
that's the
right.
thing. But that's not here nor there. But I was
Mhm.
also gonna say, I love the explanation, because going off of climate change and how as we saw in King of the Monsters, like Godzilla is like pretty much all the kaiju's are like repairing the damage around the world. Like Godzilla, whenever he passes by, he leads to like just resurgence of like vegetation, wildlife, things like that, like helping the planet. And then I love that was so cool where it's like they say like that storm King Ghidorah, whenever he was passing through and bringing that storm with him, that's not going away. That's still there,
Mhm.
and that's like moving to like Skull Island, and it's causing the island to be like almost more like dangerous for people to enter for that, endangering the island itself.
Yeah. And we see like a mass evacuation of the indigenous population of the Skull Island inhabitants. And that I'm really glad you brought that up because it's like this idea of change, like climate change is bad because of the effects it's gotten us here.
Yes.
The concept of change apart from climate isn't inherently a bad thing. As you grow up, you get older, you're going to go through growth spurts and stuff like that. And as a teenager, it's like, it's hard, it's hard on like your physiology and your like psychology. And so that's happening to like the planet. And I like
Right.
that this universe in all its little pockets has at least done a good job of explaining like, yeah, change can be like a beautiful thing, like we've seen with the vegetation and stuff like that. But like, look what had to happen for that to come back.
Right.
Like, that's not like a good thing. The change doesn't have to be bad, but how they get there might be a big struggle. And this comic
Right.
is kind of like teeing us up for that eventual conflict on the big screen.
Mm-hmm.
So I found that pretty compelling,
Yeah,
actually,
it's
even though I
very
wasn't super into it at first.
right. Yeah, I thought that was just really just insightful
Mhm.
because yeah, just gotta take care of the planet because yeah, I mean it takes care of us. It gives us
Yeah,
breathable air. What more can you ask for? Like no other planets do that.
yeah.
But
Mm.
yeah, I was a big fan of this graphic novel.
Yeah, I didn't really get a grasp on the human characters, honestly.
Okay.
I think there's like stuff that could be interesting. I don't know. I didn't really find an in for myself. You know what I
Okay.
mean?
No, no,
So
that's fair.
I think only a couple of these are even going to appear in the film. Rebecca Hall,
Oh,
Rebecca
Rebecca
Hall's
Hall.
character,
Yeah.
Dr.
Oh, I'm
Eileen
sorry.
Andrews is in here,
Okay.
and
That's
I
right.
thought that was like okay. So that because some you got to acknowledge that some tie-in comics are very much like cash grabs. They're not like a lot of effort put into this, and I felt that this at least had enough material to pull from that. It merits a purchase at least,
Right. Yeah.
which
I
I
think
was
it.
like when you talked to me about doing this for the show, I was like fingers crossed, and
Right. Right.
I enjoyed my time reading it, and that's more than I expected, quite frankly.
Yeah.
So good job.
Yeah. I guess that leads us to the next graphic novel, Godzilla Dominion.
Yeah, Godzilla Dominion, the official sequel to King of the Monsters. Oh, and a quick shout out to that. What I thought was really cool in both of these graphic novels. The after you open the little book, we got digital copies, so
Yeah.
I don't know how it's going to be physically. But when we open the digital files, it's the front cover, and then they have like an insignia to represent the different monsters. So for Kong, it's like his paw print, which I thought was really cool. And then for Godzilla, it's like his scratch marks. And just little touches like that give it like
Yeah.
this character, and this flavor.
Yeah. I mean, like it's just looking at all the marketing for the film, like, that's kind of like an art form in itself. I'm not sure if you remember, like, someone asked him, like, hey, like, do you ever like want to learn more about something for a movie? He's like, yeah, I want to know more about marketing because it's like, it really is like an art form, right? Like you do graphic design.
Yeah. 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 It's, you really have to consider like what you're doing. Like right now, we're seeing a lot of like marketing kind of look very samey and
Hmm.
very
Like
like
Disney,
you're
all
starting to
the
learn see like the fonts that people are using, and they're all very similar. Godzilla
papyrus.
versus Kong, respect to them for like standing out. And at the time of this recording, I'm seeing that it's the biggest box office hit like during the pandemic, and people are
Yeah,
quite frankly surprised. Over 128 million
yeah.
in
I
the
was
international
reading
box office already. Like that's
that's
crazy.
well, that's
Um,
that kind of like I guess that that's good because it shows like after this is done, this is safe and it's safe like to go to the movies like say in like China, right?
mhm.
Like they have it locked, they lock down, they're distributing the vaccine. Like it shows like the strength of like the movie theater, not I mean like box office, obviously like that's how you count money, but just like the desire of people like to escape, to get away, to like go to the movies again. I think that's pretty like wonderful,
Yeah, and the fact that like, look, regardless of whether or not people are interested in like actually Kong versus Godzilla, people want to go to the movies and people want to experience stuff. So that whole debate we were having last decade about like, will movie theaters last? Like, they'll be fine. They'll be
Yes,
fine.
they'll be
That's
fine.
not.
Yeah,
It's
just
more
do it.
complicated than that, but it'll be fine. Be
Yeah,
careful.
just keep people safe, and that's all we can ask for.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
but to spring back to the comic
yeah.
really quick, you mentioned like how marketing is like an art form in and of itself, and like yeah, it is, because you have to incorporate like designs. You want to draw people's attention, but you also want to inform them of a story. And with blockbusters, everything has to be locked down in secrecy, basically. So you
Hmm.
have to inform people of a story that maybe even the marketing team doesn't know. you
Yeah,
know?
yeah. I mean, look at Endgame, where I think for Endgame that first trailer was only like the first act. They probably gave them, and there was maybe like one shot from the third act, but that was it.
Yeah. Fun fact for that Endgame trailer: it's the first 15 minutes, and then there's one shot of them walking to the time machine that you don't know is a time machine yet.
Hmm.
That's like
That's
it. So
that's crazy.
that is impressive.
Yeah.
Um,
But anyway, for the
yeah.
graphic novel, I was really enjoying it. I'm a big Godzilla fan, obviously, look at my background.
Mhm.
And just the fact that, it just covered it's solely on Godzilla, I mean, there's not a lot of like speech bubbles, obviously, because he doesn't talk. He talked in one movie. He talked in one movie, if you remember that. Do you remember?
No.
Oh, you did.
Which
Wait.
one
No,
is
no.
that?
Godzilla versus Gigan. All right, now I'm gonna have to tell you the scene because it's like,
That the guy Gan's the one with the blade in the stomach,
yeah,
right?
he's like, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. Then
He's I
yes.
don't know what he
Yes.
is. He's like a bug. No, that's Megalon. So Godzilla versus Gigan, and it differs in the American one and then the Japanese one. In the American one, he's chilling with Anguirus, and they hear like Ghidorah or something, and like they have like a voice actor like dub them because they're like like doing that. And the
Mhm.
voice actor like for Godzilla is like, "Hey, Anguirus, do you hear that?" It's like, yeah, and they're like adding all this like weird like not yeah, I guess like ADR. They're adding weird growly sounds to them, how them talking, and it's like the cutest, weirdest thing ever. It's just they're two bros that are just that's Godzilla's bro, Anguirus. Um, they're just hanging and chilling. And he's like, "All right, let's go, man. Like when you and me hang out, like, hey, do you want to go somewhere?" I'm like, "All right, dude." And then the Japanese one, so basically they just add like word bubbles to it, like speech balloons saying the same thing. So it's kind of neat, just throwing that out there. Godzilla versus Gigan, I think it's on HBO Max. So
A lot
yeah.
of them are on HBO Max,
Hmm.
and for some reason, a lot of them turn out to be like either in the public domain or
Hmm.
available freely. So if you're able to, not even through like skeevy means, I'm just saying they're out there.
Yeah,
So
it's on Crackle
watch as
too,
much as you can. Oh,
for
Crackle. There
sure.
you go. I
Yeah.
love Crackle.
But yeah, just this is just centered on Godzilla, and it's really cool because it just shows Godzilla has the crown. He has like the main seat at the table, and now it's just him protecting his title. Like he
Hmm.
just all he does now is like he's like a heavyweight, so he's like Mike Tyson, Mike Tyson
Yeah.
in the '90s, and he's like, it's like no one's gonna knock me out. Like I'm the better. Like, he's like Muhammad Ali. It's like I'm the greatest. Like
Hmm.
I'm king of the monsters, dude. Like come at me. Like I don't care. It's like I took down Ghidorah. You know. So I
Yeah.
thought that's just cool. Like just the fact like the way they made this role. It's like yeah, he's king of the monsters. Like he's Godzilla. I love him.
Yeah. Art by Drew Edward Johnson, written by Greg Keyes. I'm not familiar with either of their work, but I loved this comic.
Yeah.
I loved it. I was blown away by how much I liked this one.
Hmm. Yeah.
This is fantastic. I mean, there's little moments in like some of the art where I'm like, this is like I don't know what they're trying to convey, or like here's like a weird angle, but it perfectly captured the story about Godzilla just getting in the Godzilla mindset about how it has to protect the Earth,
Hmm.
less so about protecting individuals like Kong. So you find this perfect balance between the two, and I was head over heels. I had a blast reading this one. You
Yeah,
told me beforehand when we were going to these comics, you were like, "Yeah, the Kong one's a quick read." It was, but
or the
I like
Godzilla one
breezed through the
is
Godzilla one.
yeah, the Godzilla one was a quicker read.
Yeah, I
Yeah, yeah,
love this. We get to catch
yeah.
up with some of the kaiju from the end of King of the Monsters,
Hmm.
like that weird tick spider thing with the
There's like
tentacles.
yeah, there's the mammoth one. Blinking on his name.
Here, I'll pull it up right now.
Sure.
I'll clip this real quick
Yeah,
at
yeah.
the end.
You see him? Yeah, I love that like kaiju too. He's just a big boy mammoth.
Titanus Behemoth.
Behemoth, yeah.
Yeah.
So we see Behemoth and like just what's going on with him because they're all like I love like how thought out all the monsters are. You know, just like it's just so like neat and cool. You know,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. It's just they have all their personalities and like that was the coolest scene at the end of King of the Monsters. They just bow down to him because it's like yeah, he's the king.
Yeah.
Wish we could see Rodan again. I don't know. Who knows? Well, maybe we will.
Yeah. Is that like a Toho rights thing? Maybe.
Well, no, like, no, they have the rights to Rodan.
Okay. Yeah, because that did like it's not a problem, but I was like, I want to see Rodan again. Like the Rodan
Yeah,
sequence in King of the Monsters was like the most fun I had in the theater that year because I was
yeah,
just like, holy shit, it was awesome in IMAX. But
and I
yeah, I
guess
miss him.
Rodan is canonically Mexican.
Yeah,
He was a
it's
Mexican.
quite getting some some
Remember?
Latinx representation
I
in these
guess so.
monster movies. Hell
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, he's our native bird now.
Mm-hmm. Go Rodan.
Go Rodan.
But the comic is so good. It's so minimalist. I wish the art was a little more minimalist.
Yeah.
But I also am glad that it's like it's just constant splash pages almost. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I want to make like a poster of like everything. Put it up in my room.
Yeah.
I
It
need to buy that Kong versus Godzilla.
this was so good.
Yeah, it was
um,
great.
yeah, I wish more. I want every Godzilla comic to just be this silent, almost like a silent just saga of like this monster unable to find like a personal domain in the world anymore. You know, it's
Hmm.
almost like No Country for Old Godzilla.
Yeah, I just bought the 4K of Godzilla, the 2014, which is it's amazing 4K. Like
Mm-hmm.
the transfer, like all the colors look brighter. But yeah, just kind of like going back to that movie, I was enjoying it more knowing where Godzilla goes in the next couple movies in like this world. So yeah, just like they've like had Godzilla pretty consistently throughout the this universe. So
Yeah,
props
which is
to
nuts
them.
because it's separate writing teams too.
Hmm.
Although Dougherty did help out with Godzilla versus Kong, so
That's right. That's right. We love Mike
fingers
Dougherty. We
crossed.
stand.
Hell yeah! Well, I don't stand anyone, but fantastic filmmaker.
Yeah.
I'll fight for his King of the Monsters for sure.
Yeah. Which is great.
And you brought up the 2014 Godzilla, but I guess announcement will be given doing a giveaway for our Godzilla versus Kong episode. So stay tuned for
Yeah.
more information on that.
You could get the digital code for my 4K Blu-ray.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, if you want it. Yeah, I don't need to have it. I just like physical copies, guys. So, have at it.
No, there you go. There it is. But I want to talk a little bit more about this one because
Yeah, before we
the problem is it is a little minimalist. So it's like how much more could you like say about it? You know, it's not great for like a discussion, but I don't know. I was so like engaged with the drawings and the little thought bubbles, I guess, like this omniscient perspective about the King of the Monsters. Like I would love a Godzilla movie like this. I know that won't happen, and I'm not someone to complain about the human perspective in these movies at all. I thought King of the Monsters was actually really good at that, and I might be the only one who thought that. But
Mhm.
like I want to see more. It reminded me of Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, you know, where you open with like the 15 minutes of the ape footage, and they're just
Yeah,
signing to each other.
yeah,
There's no human dialogue spoken
that's
yet.
like that was almost like 2001. You know, like that reminded me of that. Yeah, that was like one of my favorite sequences. I just love stuff like that where it's just very creative and like just neat, you know.
Hmm. And you mentioned that these were basically pretty spoilery for Godzilla versus Kong coming up. I don't think they're that spoilery, but they do set up um I guess the title fight,
Yeah, it
so to
really,
speak.
yeah,
So
I'm
I think this
excited.
is a really, I think this one's much better at being a standalone purchase, the Godzilla Dominion,
Hmm.
but it also does bring him to the Hollow Earth beneath Skull Island, right
Yes,
at the end.
yeah. What I believe that was like hinted at in King of the Monsters because he's using the tunnels to get around.
Yeah,
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 yeah. So yeah, yeah, I would say buy it.
yeah. If you're a diehard, I would say pick up Kingdom Kong. I would say anyone could pick up
Yeah,
Godzilla Dominion, and you'll
very
get something out of it.
honestly very very approachable, very like accessible. So
Yeah,
yeah,
I I liked it so much.
yeah,
So recommendations across the board, I guess, for
yeah.
these.
There you go. Cool.
Yeah. And on that note, do we have anything else to bring up for this episode, Gene?
We could go over really quick. One of the movies we wanted to recommend for to watch for King Kong or Kong versus Godzilla, which was I just saw recently was Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla, which was on HBO Max. Me and my roommate saw it. He never seen it before, and you've seen it, but
I've seen
I
it
just
before, but it had been a while.
it had been, yeah, for sure. But no, I was like really enjoying this. Like I haven't seen it like since I was a kid. That was one of my favorite ones. I think I have that one on VHS. I found my VHSs of Godzilla, which is cool. This was really really fun. Like it's like a fun movie. Like the way it portrays like Godzilla, like the way people like look at Godzilla, his like public perception almost. You know, it's pretty cool. Um, and I love one of my favorite kaiju's. It has King Caesar. Do you remember him?
Long neck, right?
No, no, he's just
No.
he's like kind of like Mothra, where he's like a protector kaiju. Like people summon him by singing, like Mothra. But he's just a giant dog. Do you remember? He's just a big old dog. He's lovable. He's like, yeah, like he's just like I want to pet him. I want to like
Yes, I
call him
do.
a good boy.
I remember him now. I looked at the picture to make sure, but yes, I do remember him. And forgive me if I'm mistaken. This is the one with the aliens, right?
Yeah, so the
Like one of the first
aliens,
ones with the aliens that come
yeah,
in the
these
picture.
kind of like they're like simian aliens, and like they're controlling Mechagodzilla and trying to like take over the Earth.
Yeah, because that just happens in these films at some
Yeah,
point,
yeah.
which I guess might happen if these movies continue too. Because like, where else do you go? But whatever,
Hmm.
why not? Um, I have this on VHS somewhere. I know
Somewhere.
that for a fact, but I haven't seen it in many many moons.
Hmm.
Mecha Godzilla is one of the greatest designs in all of kaiju
Yeah,
history.
maybe,
You can't really
maybe,
go wrong with it.
yeah, maybe we'll see him again.
Yeah, maybe
Maybe.
not. I don't know.
Who knows?
I mean, some people probably know, but
Yeah, yeah. But yeah,
I
I
guess.
love Mechagodzilla. Like Mechagodzilla is like one of my favorite because it's just that's such a great like Toho concept. It's like it's Godzilla, but he's a robot version of Godzilla. Like isn't that like just neat? Like as we were talking about King Kong escapes, like there's Kong and then there's Mecha Kong.
Yeah, I mean, it's like an easy counterpoint to the King of the Monsters.
Yeah, yeah,
And
exactly.
like a more grounded version could probably do something interesting, like thematically with that
Yeah,
too, versus
yeah,
just it was aliens.
for sure.
But hey,
Um,
we'll see.
but yeah, I would say check this out on HBO Max because it's a fun movie. My roommate loved it. Just watching it, you feel like a kid again. So that's just a great feeling right now.
Yeah, so there you go. Add that to your list of pre Godzilla versus Kong films. Don't forget the Godzilla Dominion and Kingdom Kong are released March 30th, in the lead up to Godzilla versus Kong March 31st. So check them out from your local comic book stores if you can, or get them digitally. They're both tons of fun, but I loved Godzilla Dominion. So highest recommendation from someone who has been generally bored by big comic book stuff. Gene, on that note, where can the people find you?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram, G9892. Please follow me there and you could hear my monster thoughts.
And you could find me at the Diego Crespo and check out the Waffle Press on Twitter, YouTube, SoundCloud, Spotify, iTunes, and Patreon, where you can get early access to other stuff like Legend of Korra retrospective coming up soon, King Kong, Peter Jackson's King Kong retrospective, and all of our other coverage for the Snyder Cut, and of course Godzilla versus Kong
Yeah.
later this week. So hopefully by the time you're listening to this, we're even closer. And on that note, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. We have been professionally unprofessional.